You are now listening to the Serious Growth Podcast with your host, Leo Costa Jr.
Wow, here we go again, man. Serious Growth Podcast. You know, I'm constantly looking at Google News. And the reason why I'm doing that is because what a great source to go to find out the pulse of the industry. And I got to tell you something, you know, I've talked about firsthand experience. My dad told me firsthand experience it's hard to replace. But you know what? Firsthand experience, what comes with that is a lot of time put in, time invested, time served. And that's exactly what I've done in the last 40 years. There's so many people in the industry now that are gone. Vince Gironda, people like that. They just are gone for whatever reason. Some have died. I think some have moved on, doing other things. I haven't. I've been there the whole damn time. So when I see things in the industry, like I said, Google News, where people are citing, for example, there was one person that cited some study that was done that said there's no difference to the physiology whether or not you're doing low reps, medium reps, or high reps. I mean, the minute I hear that, I'm thinking that is that guy or that person who said that is full of shit. Obviously, they haven't firsthand experience. Because if they did, look, maybe they're just saying that because they want to create controversy. If you're doing it for that damn reason, good for you, because you got me fired up. But I'm telling you that when I see stuff like that, I know immediately that that person doesn't have firsthand experience. Look, I'm not saying that data isn't valuable. It is. But when you're using that as your sole measure of how you should be, like in this case, what kind of rep scheme that you should use to be putting on muscle, or it doesn't have influence, you're out of your fucking mind, dude. That's not the way it is. Because I know for a fact that changing rep schemes, low, medium, high, that all has its own impact on the physiology. End of story, end of report. And that's just one damn article that I've seen just recently. It happens all the time. And you wonder why people are misled and are confused. The people in the industry are the problem, a lot of them. They're the part of the problem. And some of these people are smart people. I'm not going to bag on that. They're not stupid, but they don't have that firsthand experience. They just don't. That's okay. I just wanted to mention that and move on to something I think that's more important. I got a couple of people that are reaching out on the socials, and one of the guys, he's really interested in putting on muscle. And look, so many things as it relates to weight training and cardio, it's counterintuitive. What you think you should be doing is actually the exact opposite. See, that's the hard part. And that's how people get fooled all the time. And that's how I know. That's the glaring indication when I start seeing some of the stuff that's out in the industry. For example, if you want to put on muscle as fast as humanly possible, you have to trick your physiology. What do I mean by that? Well, in one example, you at some point should starve your body from protein. That's right. Starve your body from protein. When I was in Bulgaria, I learned this little not so well-known technique. They did it out of necessity because they didn't have the luxury that we do in our country to have an ongoing source of protein, which was mind-blowing. I mean, you know, this is some of the stuff that I started seeing when I was over in different countries, how lucky we are. I would have never thought that there's an issue with, having ongoing protein in my diet, and yet they did. And guess what? Even with that being said, they figured out how to use that potentially a disadvantage, not being able to have protein all the time, and turn it into something that was physiologically sound, that made the body not only hoard protein, but it helped the body put on muscle. So if you want to put on muscle, I can show you how to put on muscle at least 20% faster. I may not sound like a lot, but the truth is, guys out there, and gals, when a bodybuilder, even with the drugs that are out there, when a bodybuilder puts on 12 pounds of lean muscle a year, that is awesome. And you're going to hear a lot of other stories, and I don't believe half of them or most of them. So let's just use that 12 pounds of lean a year, 12 pounds of lean body weight. In other words, you might put on more muscle if you put on 20 pounds of fat. Okay, we're trying to be as efficient as possible. But when you're doing that, a technique that you use is exactly what the Bulgarians talked about.
All right, let's take a quick break so I can tell you about our product.
Do you want a bone-crushing grip? Good, because you're gonna get one with the amazing new Trs Gripper. It's a progressive grip builder with longer handles and a special ergonomic design that's like a dozen hand grippers in one. Start off easy and work your way up to quickly build your grip strength from wet noodle to pulverizing. The package includes a video from the world-famous strength coach, Dr. Russ Horine, the man who worked with Leo Costa to help bring you big beyond belief in the Bulgarian Power Burst. Dr. Horine shows you a simple and easy to follow workout plan that takes just minutes a day right from in front of your TV set if you want. So click on the link below and let's get started building you a stronger, firmer, bone-crushing grip.
I can show you how you can starve your body from protein. And the stuff that I'm advocating is not dangerous. It's just using macros in this case. And it's also using the three components: weight training, cardio, nutrition, because they all have to be present and be implemented in a certain way. But in this case, I'll just talk about the nutrition part of it. If you want to teach your body how to hoard protein, assimilate more protein, because basically our physiology is set up to where you can take in about 30 grams of protein. If you'll notice when you're looking at some of these protein drinks, you'll notice that they correlate that with one serving is 30 grams of protein. There's a reason for that. That's kind of the default number in the industry. But there's a way to increase that assimilation. Starve your body from protein. Starve your body from protein. When I say that, if you're taking in what you should be, half a gram per 1 pound of body weight as a minimum, if we take it down to where you're only taking in a quarter of that, or 3/4 less than a half, you still have some protein coming in, but you just really reduce that down, not to zero, take a little bit in, but do that for about 5 to 7 days. And watch what happens when you bring protein back in. And you bring it back in like a bandit, like take in 1, 2, or even 3 grams of protein per 1 pound of body weight, depending on what your current weight is. Watch what happens to your body. Your body does not know. Your physiology is smart. It does not know. When you do that little trick to it for 5 to 7 days, your body goes into fight or flight. That is such an important state for you to take your body in if you know how to use that. The incorrect way to use that would be if you just did that too long. If you starved your body from protein too long, then it starts cannibalizing. But if you do that in the way that I'm talking about, in addition to that, you take the other two components, cardio and weight training, and you do that in a certain way, Look, this is all about revving up your metabolism and throttling your metabolism at certain times in a training regimen. It has to be done at certain times. Generally speaking, we're talking about anywhere from 21 days, that's 3 weeks, to about 6 weeks. That would be your window that you would do stuff like this. You wouldn't want to go any longer than that. If you do that at the right times and also manipulate your training program, again, revving it up or throttling it, same with cardio, you will turn your body into a real efficient machine. Again, as in this case, to consume more protein because your physiology doesn't know if it's going to get that again. See, that's what was happening with the Bulgarians. And all they did was took, lemonade and made something better. So it can be done. Maybe most of you don't really understand or realize that for whatever reason, the way that the molecular structure is of the body, your body can't store a lot of protein for very long. That's the reason why it's suggested for most part that you should eat protein every 3 hours. I find that really interesting. I don't really understand why, but that doesn't change the fact that you can teach it how to at least temporarily take in more protein. If you do that in a very specific way, which I'm not going to give that part of it away, I want you to call in. I want you to direct message me. I want you to email me if you want to get that detailed information, because I can show you how to put on muscle 20% faster than you'll do on your own, unless you're that bodybuilder who has done it like myself and has that firsthand experience. And I've done that. I know how this can be done. The same thing happens when we're talking about muscle endurance. It's playing with your physiology. It really comes down to that. We want to think that there's a shiny object and there's some magical thing that we're doing. I hate to break the news to you, but it's not that complicated. But the trick is you got to know how your physiology works. Look, most people don't. They don't. And especially as it relates to the 3 training components, they don't get that. Not really. I've seen it too often. I see it every day. Most people are really good about the training part of it. But even then, when I hear a knothead that makes this comment where doing lower, medium, or high reps makes no difference, impact on the physiology, I mean, I understand that person doesn't really get it. They don't. Of course, that makes a difference. If you want to, I can show you, if you're that person, if you're trying to develop maximum muscle endurance, maybe you're in an endurance sport. Maybe you just want to teach your body how to recover faster from a muscle building workout. I can show you how to double your endurance in 12 weeks. That's pretty fast. You may not think that it is, but that's huge. But again, you got to know how those 3 components work. You got to know how your physiology is always responding to the environment that you're putting it in. World-class bodybuilders who have done this for so long, we can just tell. We don't go strictly by data. We use data as a tool, but we also go by feel and by a look. I'm working with somebody right now who's wanting to drop a bunch of weight. And I'm really hell-bent on exact numbers, because I believe that you have to trust the numbers. And when I say the numbers, I mean, like, if you're losing, or the goal is to drop weight or to gain muscle. And by the way, it's not just about dropping weight, it's dropping the right kind of weight. In other words, fat. You have to know the numbers exactly as to how it's impacting your body. That's why I tell my people, I want you to weigh every single day at the same time. I want to know exactly how many calories you're taking in. I want to know exactly what kind of training program that you're on. I have to know that. Again, I'm going to reach back and at the top of the show, we talked about everything is counterintuitive. What you think you should be doing, generally speaking, and this is how most people think, for the most part, is the actual opposite of what you should be doing. So when you're dieting down, for example, like this gal, this second case study that we're developing right now, she's going to end up dropping 20 pounds here pretty quick. She just started her weight loss lockdown, weight loss training system, 6 days ago. She's on the track of losing 1 pound a day. And there's going to be a time when I'm going to be increasing water intake dramatically, maybe double what she's doing, for example, as an example, either increasing or decreasing caloric intake, which is going to throw her weight is going to be inconsistent. That matters not to me, because not only am I looking at this person, having her measure for interest loss, but I'm looking at the data. Because when she gains 3 pounds or 4 pounds, when she thinks she should be losing, because this is what happens with most people, and then all of a sudden they get freaked out because they have weight gain when they think they should be having weight loss. This is where people go haywire. They don't understand the numbers, how they work. And then combine that with having enough information to be able to look in a mirror and to be able to assess exactly where you're at. Most people don't have that. And unfortunately, most trainers don't have that either. Not even some of the people that are pretty high level bodybuilders. I know, because they put their hands in somebody else who hopefully, and there's some good ones out there. I'm not saying that. I'm not. But generally speaking, if you don't understand what's going on, or if you don't have somebody who's assisting you, because I think it's really important to have a proper training partner to be your objective voice. Because those of you who have been in the industry as long as I have and who have competed, it turns out to be a real mind game as to what you're really seeing in the mirror. It's crazy that way. I've mentioned it before. It's like I look in the mirror sometimes when I was competing, and I don't even know if I was seeing what I thought I was seeing. I mean, what helped was taking photos, and I suggest that you do that. So the point is, you must understand everything about how your physiology ticks. Like I said, I have the second weight loss program that I'm doing with another female. Here's how predictable this all is. And why I'm saying predictable is I've done this long enough that I can tell you, as it relates to females as well as males, it's a little different with males. This second case study that we're working on right now is doing exactly what the first case study is or did. And by the way, I want to talk about that first case study. You know, I've often said that the mark of a good program is that it stands the test of time. And it's something that you can do pretty seamlessly. It's a program that you can do and still live your life. How many times do people go on a weight loss or even a muscle building program that they get thrown off track because of vacation time, for example? And this is the exact example that I want to make of our first case study that's on the website. 10 weeks in right now at this point. 10 weeks. 10 days of vacation time. And they had a damn good time on their vacation. They did not hold back. They're a pound lighter than when they started 10 weeks ago, even with 10 days of vacation. In other words, not working out, not following a diet. You know how you do that? You know how you create that buffer and that efficiency in your physiology? You do exactly what I'm doing with these people. You shock the body, you shock the metabolism, put it in fight or flight, get all your sensors, your sensories are all on alert. Your metabolism is functioning like you can't believe. Like in this gal's case. She's out here 10 days, going, having a good time. And you know what that did? It actually sped up her metabolism even more. How the fuck does that happen? It just doesn't happen, folks. We have built this into her physiology now. Now, it's not forever, but she's got so much wiggle room that she can go out and do this to her physiology, and all it's going to do is respond exactly the opposite of what you might think. You might think that she'd be gaining weight. Nope. Her metabolism is on fire. I'm having to keep up with her metabolism with calories. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine having to try to keep up with your metabolism and having to eat more calories? In some cases, you'll get to the point where you can't eat enough calories to keep that body weight. Your body's too efficient. Imagine that. But even that is temporary. We can work with that too. What a nice feeling. What a nice place to be in. I'm going to speak from my own experiences. I was that person at one time before I understood how diet and exercise actually impacted physiology. I was stressed out because I was now, putting on weight. I didn't know exactly how to go about doing that. This is early on in my career, learning about diet and exercise, health, and all that, how diet affects you in training. It took some time, but I was always stressed out. So my response to that was what's harmful and what happens to most people. I overdid everything. I over dieted. I starved myself for too long because I didn't understand that process. How can you? How can you? And so when you're listening to these people that are out there that are talking about quick fix, I'm not against that because I can quick fix the shit out of you, just like I'm doing with this 2-week lockdown. That's a quick fix. I mean, they ended up losing 12 pounds in 10 days. That's just part of what has to happen. And this is a really important part that people don't get. That's what I was doing. I'm diet, intermittent fast. And I'm not saying that any of this stuff is bad, but it's the way that it's implemented. That's what's harmful. Everything that I'm talking about is good for your physiology. It's good for your body. Not to mention it's good for your mind. These two people that right now, I mean, this gal that just now has been on this for 6 days, her whole mindset has changed. What a positive outlook. When all of a sudden you see things happening in your body that just are amazing, it changes your mindset. It changes how you think. Your mind is command center. It starts there. But we can manipulate your body. I can do that with your body. It's like having putty in my hands. And this is what bodybuilding is all about. We're kind of sculpturists that way. Creating the body that we want. Understanding that there's going to be times that we're not going to really look like we want, but we're okay with that because we understand what's going on to the nth degree. You want to know why most people fail? Right here. There's no easy way out. There are shortcuts, but there really aren't shortcuts. There are temporary shortcuts, but the big process is a much different story. And even with that being said, think about this. Can you imagine being in complete control of your body? Because what I'm suggesting is not hard to do. Not really. There's a few things that you have to do. Look, everything is a little bit of work. I mean, even like the diet that we're talking about, it's food and water. No supplementation. It's lifestyle friendly. You can go out and eat restaurants. Can you imagine? It just becomes a part of your daily life and you're successful in it. Instead of getting on that damn yo-yo that roller coaster ride that most people just end up, they give up, they fail. And then when they get enough pain, because they're looking terrible, they feel terrible, they get on this crazy ass ride that never ends, and it always ends the same way. Disappointment. The theme of what I'm talking about here, people, is that you state the goal that you want. You want to put on muscle quickly in the right way. You want to create muscle endurance, double your efficiency. Same way with weight loss, and to make sure that it's safe and that you're just not losing weight, you're losing fat weight. If you want to do that, then be proactive. Go to my Instagram and direct message me. I can do a 5 to 10 minute consultation with you that'll get you started on the path that you want to be on. And yes, you will see immediate results, but more importantly, you're going to see results for a long time. It's up to you. No one's going to do it for you. I can give you a lot of guidance. I will not do it for you. I will show you how to do it for yourself, and I will show you how to do it in such an easy way that'll even surprise you. We're going to leave that right there. Direct message me on Instagram. Go to my email, leocostajr.com. Sign up on one of the forums, and I'll send you an ebook. There's some ebooks there that I can send for you. We have ones that are good for macro circuit diet. It's good for if you wanted to, for example, reverse heart disease. If you got some issues with your weight or whatever, we've got things like, we got ebooks for all different scenarios. Start the game for yourself. Start learning how to do this. Start learning how to get yourself in the kind of shape that you'll be proud of for a long time. Till next time, go get serious growth. Be serious about what you're doing.
Thanks for listening to the Serious Growth Podcast. For more episodes like the one you just listened to, subscribe to us on your mobile podcast app and leave us a review. If you'd like to reach out, you can find us online at seriousgrowth.com. Until next time, train smart and train hard.